All right, so we're going to talk about LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier, talk about the keys for success for Nuss against this Ole Miss defense. We're going to preview the Ole Miss defense, talk about the keys for Nussmeier, and then we're going to showcase some film at the end of the video. Actually, in here, like 2 or 3 minutes, we'll look at a few of the clips from Ole Miss's defense and clips from Garrett Nussmeier. So let's talk about Ole Miss's defense first. Let's talk about what they want to try to do. And so far, the theme of their defense, if you will, is try to confuse the quarterback from pre-snap to post-snap and have strategic blitzing when needed, right? They've been a very stout defense. The first 4 games against Furman, Wake, Middle Tennessee, and Georgia Southern, they only gave up 22 points. Against Kentucky and South Carolina combined, they only gave up 23 points, right? So they're trying to confuse the offense, confuse the quarterback pre-snap, and then try to make them pay post-snap. Now, this is going to be the best offense that they've faced and probably will face the whole season. This may even be the best quarterback that they face the whole season coming up this weekend. But so far, against the 2 SEC opponents, let's look at Kentucky and South Carolina. They brought pressure, so they blitzed 5+ guys 31% of the time on Kentucky's dropbacks, and they had 6 sacks on Kentucky. Against South Carolina, they blitzed only 25% of the time, but had 25 total pressures the entire game and had 6 sacks. So they weren't even blitzing or bringing more than 4 guys the majority of the time. They were still getting pressure on Lenore's Sellers. Now, LSU's offensive line is, again, one of the better offensive lines in the country, so you may need to bring an extra guy to get pressure. I don't know. And we're going to look at this film. We're going to see how there's some unique things that Ole Miss's D-line does that helps them get pressure. So Ole Miss's defense, just to kind of wrap up their theme, they want to confuse you pre-snap and do something else post-snap and get pressure without having to bring a lot of guys. So let's talk about Garrett Nussmeier. And LSU hasn't faced a good defense since South Carolina, right? You had South Alabama and UCLA. So this will be the first time in several weeks that they faced a defense like they're facing in Ole Miss. And Ole Miss's defense is probably better than South Carolina's, right? You can probably make an argument there, but Ole Miss's defense is probably better. They've had a lot of success early in the season. So the theme for Nussmeier is I want to start fast. I don't want to start slow like you did against South Carolina when you went down, what was it, 17-0? Then you had to kind of battle and fight your way back. So I want to start fast. Another thing I'm looking for Nuss is how will he respond and adjust when the opposing defense is making in-game adjustments? Because I would imagine the Ole Miss defense is going to be making in-game adjustments every series based off what Nuss is doing. So with that said, what are the main keys? Well, key number 1, I want to challenge them vertically. They haven't faced a quarterback like you. And like we mentioned, Nuss may be the best quarterback in the SEC when it's all said and done by the end of the year. So I want to challenge them vertically. They've only given up 1 completion when the ball was thrown 20 yards or more in the air in 2 SEC games. And that was a Brock Vandergrift throw on 4th and 7. That just was a perfect throw, perfect catch that isn't very repeatable, right? So besides that play, they haven't given up any big explosive plays to the air. So if I'm Nuss, I want to challenge them. They haven't seen receivers like I got. They haven't seen the arm like I got. I want to challenge them. Key number 2, you're going to have to make tough NFL-style throws. Now, the vertical throws are obviously tough throws, but other throws like mature balls that you're throwing over the middle of the field, you have to layer it over a linebacker. You have to throw your receiver open. And we're going to see some clips of Nuss doing that here in a second. Key number 3, I want to utilize my legs. I want to help my offensive line out. If Ole Miss's defensive line is able to get some pressure, then I want to utilize my legs and buy time on design quarterback rollouts, on play action, throwing on the run, throwing outside the pocket. And key number 4, last key, I want to get the ball out quick. I want some underneath type plays to be done, to be implemented, to give my receivers a chance to get some yards after the catch, right? So that's the last key. I want to take what the defense gives me, right? So key number 1, I want to challenge them vertically. Key number 2, you have to make some tough NFL-style throws. Key number 3, utilize my legs, throwing on the run. And the last key is getting the ball out quick and letting your receivers do the rest of the work. So with that said, we're going to look at a few clips of Ole Miss's defense first, then a few clips of Nuss showing the type of plays and the type of throws he's going to have to make, I think, in order for LSU to win this game. And if you're an LSU fan, please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below as we are watching this. With that said, let's go ahead and look at the film. All right, so we're going to check out 2 clips of Ole Miss's defense, and we're going to see the first clip is going to be a sack against Sellers. Second clip is going to be an interception. And we talked about Ole Miss's defense at the beginning of the video. We talked about how a lot of times they'll show one thing pre-snap and so show something else post-snap. And a lot of times when I use those terms, I mean like it looks like they're going to bring 4 and then they end up bringing 6, or it looks like they're going to bring 6 and they end up only bringing 4. But Ole Miss's defense, and they do that, but Ole Miss, look right here, it looks like 4. They do bring 4, but watch the stunt by their defensive tackle right here, right? So They show one thing pre-snap on the D-line, and they do a different stunt here. Number 4 takes out 3 offensive linemen, essentially, which leads for an open rush for the other defensive tackle for Ole Miss, just confusing the offensive line. So that's a sack. Again, they had 6 sacks against South Carolina and 6 sacks against Kentucky. So I think they've only had 2 SEC games, right? Only 2 SEC games. They have 12 sacks. And then we're looking here, so it's a 3rd and 5. I'll go ahead and move. And they end up getting pressure on Sellers. They don't get to him. He escapes. Some pretty gnarly holding there. I don't even know if they called that. That's pretty crazy. Let's go ahead and check this out. Yeah. Ole Miss's D-line is pretty talented. Like, if you just watch them. Because, like we said, they don't blitz a ton, and they get a lot of pressure. Yeah, so they get a hold, and you'll see this leads to an interception. So, ultimately, what Ole Miss is, of course, and any defense is trying to do is let that pressure lead to a bad throw, lead to an interception, which is exactly what happens here. I'll watch that one more time. Force the Sellers out and leads to a pick. So if you're Nussmeier, if you're LSU, understanding and knowing that, and obviously not forcing those type of throws here. So let's go ahead and look at Nuss. We got a few throws and clips we're going to watch. And the keys we talked about with Nuss were taking some shots downfield vertically. Like South Carolina and Kentucky had one completion of the ball was thrown 20 yards or more in the air combined. That was that 4th and 7 that we talked about in the video from Kentucky, which was a crazy play, right? Now, there are 2 reasons why maybe those teams weren't successful. Maybe one, Ole Miss's secondary is stout, or number 2, those passing teams maybe just aren't where they want to be. Probably a combination of both, I'm being honest. But Nuss could be the best quarterback that South Carolina faces. And being able to make vertical throws like this, it doesn't get much better than that type of throw right there. It doesn't get much more accurate than that type of throw right there, right? So key number 1, I want to attack vertically. Now, you don't want to just go out and start throwing bombs, but I think you want to challenge South Carolina's defense. You want to challenge them in hopes that, hey, you haven't had that much of a challenge the past few weekends, even though you lost against Kentucky. We're going to push you deep. We're going to push it deep and see if you can hang with our receivers and see if you can cover and defend the balls thrown from our quarterback who has accuracy like that downfield. We're going to watch one more deep vertical pass before we move on to the next keys. So this next one, I think this next one is to Anderson. This next one is actually against South Carolina, up top throw here. Really nice throw again. Let's see, is it going? Let's see. Yeah, okay. So we're going here. Again, another nice vertical throw from Nuss. And he takes a shot. It takes a hit too, right? And their offense doesn't necessarily even center on deep balls. Again, Nuss has 13 of these type of throws, but they get rid of the ball quickly, hit the guys in stride a lot of times, underneath type stuff. But, man, Nuss has the ability to make those type of throws, to be accurate on those type of throws, right? So key number 1, vertical throws. I want to challenge South Carolina's defense. I want to see if they can defend my receivers and defend my arm, push it downfield. Key number 2, I think you're going to have to make some NFL-style throws. Now, those 2 clips you just watched were NFL-style throws on go routes. Here's a perfect kind of layered throw while he takes a hit that NFL quarterbacks make. He takes a hit, good defense. I know he is open, but he's got to layer it over there between 4 defenders. That's a much tougher throw than it looks. If we had the all 22 and we could see the behind the center throw, we'd be very impressed. So a perfect 2-ball, just throwing it to a position, throwing it to a spot, and letting your receiver make a play. So you're going to have to make some NFL-style throws against this Ole Miss defense here. And then key number 3, I want to get rid of the ball quickly, get to my receivers underneath, let them take care of the rest, let them get some yards, right? Let them get some yards after the catch. And then the last key is utilizing your legs to try to slow down the pass rush. I don't have any clips of that here, I don't think. Yeah, I forgot to put one of those clips on. But that's the last key I want to see from Nuss against Ole Miss's defense. Utilizing your legs. It can be off play action. It can be designed rollouts, whatever it may be. But I think utilizing your legs, throwing on the run outside the pocket can help slow down the pass rush if Ole Miss is able to get to Garrett Nussmeier. So LSU fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll go ahead and rewind it so we can look at these clips real quick. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think the keys are for Nussmeier? If you're an Ole Miss fan, what do you think the keys are for your defense and how you potentially stop Garrett Nussmeier? Again, super excited for this game. One of the most intriguing matchups of the weekend. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you haven't watched this type of, or you haven't been to our channel, and you're interested in this type of SEC quarterback content, we put out SEC QB content on a weekly basis, multiple videos a week from these film breakdowns, previews, recaps. Any SEC QB content is fair game here. So please consider subscribing to the channel, like, share the video if that's your cup of tea. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.